What's up, guys? We're back. That's my intro that I use for everything. What's up, guys? Just it's a habit. But today we're going to be talking about unused capacity and how to activate money you are currently sitting on. It's Coach Anthony Bevilacqua, or Coach AB, alongside the host, Vince Gabriel. Big Vince, what's up today, buddy? How you doing?
I think you're the host.
Yeah, I know. You're the man. I'm just the man behind the man.
Minion that talks.
I'm the man behind the man.
So how are things?
Good, man. How's things with you?
Couldn't be better. I am like a fully converted nose breather.
Nice. Did we talk about that on the last podcast?
I don't think so. But I read the book.
Put your headphones on so people can hear you a little more clearer.
That's right.
And then we will discuss what nose breathing is. So I'll take over for this guy while he gets up and goes and does that. So he talked about nose breathing, and I think it was in our last mastermind call. And he read a book. I think we did talk about it on the last podcast, but it was basically a book that talked about nose breathing. The book talked about nose breathing, how it has so many more benefits than mouth breathing. So I forget the statistic, Vince. So you're back now.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, it's much
All right,
better.
good. There we go.
So go ahead. So explain to everybody why it's important.
Well, you got to read this book. I mean, it is like, for me, there's very few books that I can say were life-changing, but it's something that I for my whole life, I've been a mouth breather, and I look at my kids, and my kids are mouth breathers. My daughter Bella, like, always has her mouth open. She's like, all the time. And so I'm like, and so here's, and I don't know if we talked about this last time, but here's like, so do you know the biggest cause of cavities is nose breathing? Is mouth breathing?
Yeah, you said that last time.
I did say that last time. So repeat. So here's the thing. We said it last time.
I don't know if you said it on the podcast or you said it on.
I can't remember.
I don't know what
here's the thing. If you want to be better at managing stress, right? If you want to have a clearer mind and clearer thoughts and not feel like your world is going to implode by every little thing that happens to you, start breathing through your nose more than your mouth. Right? It's just like, it's
worth it.
It's all it is. So go read Breathe by James Nestor. And if you don't want to read the book, go listen to the Bulletproof podcast episode with him. But I'm like telling as many people as possible about that thing. It's like really good. So without getting into it, focus on breathing through your nose more than breathing through your mouth, and you'll have less stress in your life, guaranteed.
And less cavities.
Yeah.
A wider smile. So this way, when you guys put out your ads on Facebook and you're smiling, you could actually see nice white teeth.
That's right.
All right, so let's talk about unused capacity. And this is something that you've touched on plenty of times. And you talked about this actually last time, and how you can actually activate money that you're sitting on, you don't even realize. And we kind of did this today. I talk to Vince all the time, literally all the time. And we had a meeting today. And during the meeting today, we kind of were discussing, hey, who can we get to do this? And that's a form of unused capacity. So Vince, why don't you explain to everybody what unused capacity is for a personal trainer listening to this, or a gym owner listening to this, who needs to activate it and activate this money that they're sitting on?
All right. So AB, are you a fan of McDonald's?
I mean, I haven't eaten McDonald's in a long time, but I like the idea of McDonald's.
Yeah. So you know that McDonald's once was a restaurant that only served hamburgers.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what the most profitable portion of McDonald's is?
Yeah, the fries.
No. The most profitable area of McDonald's business is breakfast. And so McDonald's started as a restaurant that served burgers from lunchtime to dinner. And all of a sudden they got this idea, hey, there's people going to work. There's people that maybe want to eat breakfast, and like they were saying, oh, well, no one eats hamburgers before before lunchtime. It's like, well, we'll give them something different. And hence McDonald's breakfast, the most profitable part of their business. And that is an idea and a concept of unused capacity, right? That is the perfect scenario to look at. Okay, we have a restaurant that can easily make breakfast food, and we have customers that want breakfast food, and all we have to do is open the doors and put a sign out that says breakfast is served, and we'll make money. Right. And it's just like it's sitting right there. It's like right there for the taking. And then all of a sudden it becomes the most profitable thing that they do. And that is a mindset. So what I want to teach today is a mindset. Late night TV started the same way. Late night TV, infomercials, all of that started with there was nothing going on at noon, at 12. The shows were off the air. There was nothing. And they got this idea. It's like, oh, let's put these guys want to sell this thing.
Yeah, let's
go put it on at 2 a.m.
The Shark Tank, that guy from the Shark Tank, that's how he made all his money. He got those time slots for free.
Right, exactly.
That's crazy.
So there's unused capacity, right? They were sitting on some of the most successful parts of their business. And what I was saying before is like, this needs to be like a mindset shift. A mindset shift to start this thinking process. And that's like what I've been working on with you guys I'm working on it hard this year. But my job as a business owner is not to, as a business consultant, is not to give you guys, a lot of tactics, right? And I'll do that, right? I do that, right? But it's really to change and not to just change, but to elevate your level of thinking about how you run your business. To be able to go and operate your business with this mindset of, okay, this is a level of thinking that I can do that's going to enhance my ability to grow. And that's essentially what this concept does. It's a thinking process that you go through that elevates your level of thinking to help your business be more profitable. So I have a couple, I want to kind of give some examples here. I have my, actually I have like some notes pulled up. Believe it or not, I have notes today.
I can't believe that. Usually I'm the one with the notes.
I never have notes, but there's notes, and I want to give. So I think it's important that we give some examples, some more examples, right? So I gave the McDonald's example, but there's also things we can start to do from the gym space, right? Of where are we sitting on unused capacity? And I start to think about now. All right, here we are, COVID-19. It's still a bitch to market, right? It's still tough to get new people in the door. What potential things and assets do gym owners have right now that they're not using, that they haven't even thought about using? Now, one of them, if you listen to me and you're an avid follower, actually, I kind of had a little bit of a moment earlier today that a woman, she was on a call. I was on a call with her, a marketing strategy call. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm a big fan." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Really? Like, fan of what? Like, what do you like?" It's like still it's rare, but she said she was a fan.
I got one to top you. So I was when I was really big into the podcast, this was like 2018. Our podcast was like top 40 in health and fitness.
Oh wow.
I went to Disney one week with my wife and my kids, and some guy screaming my name. I'm like, who's this? He's like, "You're Anthony from the podcast, right?" I'm like,
oh my God.
How did you even notice me? It's so funny because we're friends on Facebook, so the guy still messages me to this day, but it's just so funny. I'm like, I've made it. I've officially made it in life.
That is great. That is great. Oh God. Yeah. So we were talking today, and she's probably so if you're an avid follower of this podcast or you're on my email list, you know that I've been talking about this ad nauseum. And the biggest unused capacity that gyms have right now is their own lists, is their customer lists, is their lists of their emails, their list of their phone numbers, their lists of birthdays, their list of anniversaries. It's the data. The biggest unused capacity that gyms have right now is the data. And it's funny, I had 3 calls today, all people looking to join Mastermind. All of them, when I told them that hey, maybe you should start looking at emailing your list, it was like a revolutionary idea. So I am telling you guys, and you guys have heard it from me so much, but I don't think everyone knows this. So that's why I want to say this. But the reality is, we talk about activating money. We talk about activating unused capacity. Well, it's your list. It's your leads that are unconverted. It's your trial memberships that you had that are unconverted. It's your lost clients. It's your current clients. And here's a big one. It's your clients on hold. It's unused capacity because you can go to that list, whenever you need to go and probably grab a client, right? Just by having a good conversation. So that's kind of what, the first kind of big one, right? Of I see as unused capacity is emails, is phone numbers, is the data. What data do you have? And then also, what data do you have about your clients that you're not using? Right? So birthdays, I think, is a big unused capacity. Because if you have the birthdays of every client you have, but and birthdays, should you just send birthday cards to your clients? That's stupid. That's so stupid. Why wouldn't you send birthday cards to former clients that you're trying to get back in the door with an offer to come back? That birthday of the former client is unused capacity. And so you're thinking, oh, I don't have time. No, you set up a system. There's automated things you can do. There's sendoutcards.com. I have my people handwrite them. We're old school. We handwrite them for the gym. But send them a birthday card and then follow up with a phone call. But it's something that's so simple that people don't think to do. So that's one form of unused capacity. The second form of unused capacity, I think, is a massive one. It is huge. And that is the capacity in your sessions. That's the capacity of, hey, I have 6 available spots. On average, I have 3. There's 3 available spots in your sessions. Unused capacity. So I think one of the issues is that people don't even know it. That's one of the issues that I see is that, hey, if I was to ask a gym owner, what's your usage rate on a weekly basis? Would they be able to tell me what it is? Would they be able to tell me on average, we have 6 spots, and on average, we have 4 people in the spot on average? I don't think there's many gyms that can tell me that. I don't think there's many gyms that really know that number. And when you don't know that number, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Because if you knew that number, and here's the reverse side of it. This is the glass is half empty side. So I'm going to make it stomach churn a little bit. So do some math. Do some math on if you, it's going to make you sick to do it. All right. It's going to make you sick because it makes me sick when I do it. So if you have, I'm going to make you guys sick. If you have 3, let's say on average, you have 50% capacity. On average, you have 3 spots and 6 available spots and 3 people in a spot. So, and let's say you charge in that one-time slot or let's say all of you. So you would multiply all of your time slots, okay, that are at 50% capacity by the monthly revenue of those people on what you could be having, what your business could generate. It will make you want to vomit. But I'm a believer that all progress starts with the truth. Good quote from my friend Dan. He's not my friend. Dan Sullivan's not my friend. He's a guy that I learned from. He wouldn't be friends with me. He'd be like, "You're stupid." He's like really smart. But he said all progress starts with the truth. Well, the first step is knowing. Right? The first step is knowing where your capacity is. The second step is getting the truth so good that it hurts. That you're willing to, but this is stuff that people aren't like willing to look into. But can you afford to have all those empty spots right now? Right? Can your business afford it? And do you need to start making moves in your business? Do you need to start, can you afford to have, a session that has 2 people in it when you could have 6? Can you continue to afford to have that one session? Or should you be more strategic and be having less time slots so your capacity increases so you can be more profitable? It's probably an important thing to be doing and thinking about right now. And if you don't thinking about it now, I don't know if you'll ever think about it. So you got to get on top of the capacity issue. So that's those are my first 2, AB.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if I want to bring this up here or not, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we have a higher level program, and we have what's called the CEO Mastermind. And actually, one of my topics for our CEO meeting, which is actually coming up, is going to be talking about going back to the first one, because I haven't been in business that long, where I've been collecting email addresses and things like that. So my list is not that big, and I feel like I've hammered that list to hell. I feel like it's way overused. So I need to find another capacity point to kind of unused data to kind of get people back to. And like the birthday card thing, like we do that already. We always offer the old client something like that back. But what would you say to someone who's listening to this who maybe knows about the email list and that kind of data? What other ideas would you kind of give them to reactivate that unused capacity in that sense?
Yeah. So, I mean, the email list is definitely, and I think, is the list getting unused? That's debatable. The response rate may be lower, but the response rate could be lower just because there's people are storming the Capitol building and there's all kinds of like shit going on. Like it's like getting crazy. So it's like you've gone through, you just went through the holidays, and then there's like, it's ridiculous of what's going on. So it's hard to tell right now. But so what you have to look at, what is the data that you have now? All those people, you have email addresses. How many of them do you have physical addresses? Yeah. And if you have their physical address, so here's the thing. So if you ever get on the phone with me to talk about the mastermind, okay, and you don't sign up that day. Now, I don't expect you to sign up that day because it's a big commitment. It's a ton of money to join the mastermind. All right, I realize it's a big commitment. But you can expect that when we hang up the phone, that you're going to get a package in the mail in a couple days that has all kinds of cool goodies and snacks and stuff like that in it because you're a candidate for the mastermind. And so that's just another form. So I could send them an email, AB, right? I could send them an email and just say, hey, it was great talking to you. I hope you joined the mastermind. So what you may need to start doing is thinking about other ways to show up. And that's why I look at that list. Remember, that list is, when I say list, it's not just email list. Your physical addresses are unused capacity. So what of your former clients do you need to send something in the mail? So we just did something at GFP where and they're out right now, so I can't speak to the actual result of this, and I'm always honest about that. right? But we sent something in the mail where we sent them like a T-shirt and to like our top 20 former clients that we wanted back. We didn't do an email or anything like that. We just did a physical gift in the mail. So that's the other thing you could do. You could obviously do phone numbers. You could use text message. You could use physical addresses. You could message them on Facebook through Messenger, like if they're on Facebook and stuff like that. So you may need to find different ways to get in touch with certain people. So that's how I would kind of answer that.
I actually got something too, and I think it's a good one that you could use. So you guys can take this, swipe it, and deploy it. So something that I kind of came up with, and I actually have it right in front of me, so that kind of reminded me. So I, like you said, people are storming the Capitol building, like crazy things are going on. So you always want to look for ways to kind of reach out to people, like Vince is talking about, unused capacity. So I bought these. Well, this is Crystal Light, but I bought these like lemonade packets, right? So they're little packets, all right? So what I did was I'm calling it the Lemonade campaign. And what I'm doing is I'm actually handwriting a card to all of our old members. And I'm saying, I could pull up the exact script, but I'm basically saying like, hey, I know everything is crazy right now, but remember when life hands you lemons, you have to make lemonade. So I give them one packet of lemonade and it's just like, just thinking about you, hope you're well. Anthony, whatever, PS, send me a text when you got this. So it starts a conversation.
Boom. Yeah, I think that's perfect. It's all about showing up differently. And this is about creativity. And you got to be creative right now, right? If you just just keep banging your head against the wall doing this, you got to be able to move. You got to be able to move, be nimble, and be creative. So that's a perfect example. It's funny. I did recently did a talk for Coach Catalyst, and they sent me a thank you gift in the mail. And it was a big bag of the gift in the envelope was a big bag of Snickers, which I thought was like clever. Right? It's like I think they said in the card, it's like you're not your best self when you're hungry or something like that. So you should eat more Snickers. And then I gave it to our nanny. So thanks, Trevor and Kate. Appreciate it.
But that lemonade campaign literally will cost me nothing because it will cost me a stamp to send that out. And these packets were like, listen, it was like $1 for like however many of these things. So it's like not a big deal. But again, it's just something. If you're listening to this and you don't swipe and use that, send us a thank you if you use it because you're going to get back a lot of clients. Because again, that's going to be a talking point for someone too.
Yeah.
Oh, my gym sent me lemonade. What?
That's awesome.
Lemonade. It's just a talking point. And again, unused capacity. But that's a good way to do it. Really
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So physical addresses, if you're having trouble with your email list. Now, I would say, Anthony, if you're having trouble with your email list, right, that you should join the 6-week new client surge program and, join the email and copyright, not you specifically because you've done it so many times. But if you're having trouble, a lot of times email is what I see people don't do well is if they're trying to get responses from their emails, they don't do things that drive response. They just say, here's my email. And then there's no question at the end. There's no reason. There's no reason for people to respond. So they kind of don't really get any responses. So that's what I'd say to that. So the next thing where I feel like is unused capacity that you guys all have is in the form of social proof. Now, Robert Cialdini wrote the book Influence, and he talks about the 6 laws of influence. Now, I'm going to put AB on the spot. No, I'm just kidding. But the six laws of
I competed in bodybuilding. I was on stage in front of people in a thong. I'm not afraid of anything anymore.
All right, very good. So he goes to and he was being interviewed. He wrote the book like 30, 40 years ago or something, and he's being interviewed on a podcast somewhat recently. And the guy was like, "Hey, of all the laws, do all the laws, still stand as the top laws of influence?" And he says, "Yes, but one just is head and shoulders above the rest, and that was social proof. And obviously, for obvious reasons with social media and everything like that. But that has become the most powerful law of persuasion is what other people are saying. And so think about how many testimonials you have. And so I call this, and I have a template for this. And so if anyone is actually interested in this template, I'm going to make it since this is such a very valuable thing, I'm going to make it hard for you to get it. So if you're listening to this podcast, you really take notes, copious notes here. If you really want the copy of this template that I shared only with my most successful mastermind members, you have to send me an email, vince@gabrielfitness.com, directly to me, not Megan, directly to me. And in the subject, put email template. And I have a whole email template. Actually, maybe CC Megan, because she's going to have to get it for you anyway. So CC Megan on there. See Megan at vincegabriel.com. And basically, so the email template teaches you how to take an existing testimonial, a testimonial that is from Google, a Google review, it's a Facebook review, it's a testimonial on your website. And it teaches you to take that testimonial and turn that into a piece of content that you can use. A story-based piece of content where all you really need is the words that they said, and then you can start the top and you can finish the bottom, and becomes a complete sales system to be able to use. That's unused capacity, because you got the testimonial, the Google reviews sitting there in Google. And hopefully it's doing the work in terms of like optimizing and driving people to your website or your Google My Business platform. But in reality, you can use that testimonial in many, many more ways. You can post it on social, you can take it on an email, you can do lots of things with it. So I look at people like testimonials. Like when I get a testimonial, I put it on my website, I put it on my Facebook page, I put it in my PowerPoint slides, I put them everywhere. But because I want them to be spread across multiple areas and multiple platforms. So again, if you would like that testimonial email template, if you will, email vince@gabrielfitness.com and put email template in the subject and CC Megan at vincegabriel.com. And Megan will send it back to you. So I'm just making it harder, because now you got to type in 2 emails. But I want to make it hard because it's good stuff. And I'm just giving shit away for free. Come on. All right.
Yeah, and I can one up you. Then you could take that email campaign that you've made into a campaign, you could print it and then send it to all your old clients in the mail. So
Boom.
not only will they get it via email, which they probably won't open, but now they'll get it in a letter to their house.
Love it, AB. Ah, man, you're pretty good. Now I know why you're the SPF Mastermind Member of the Year.
Every once in a while. You give me the idea and then you got to run with it. That's how it works.
That's right. Well, that's what creativity is, right? Creativity is all everyone, like I did that talk on creativity mid-COVID, right? When we were all kind of like banging our head against the wall, like what the hell do we do with this? But creativity is, I learned this from Dan Kennedy, but creativity, and to give credit, I also learned unused capacity from Dan Kennedy, as much of the stuff I learned. But the creativity is like just literally like borrowing other things that people are doing or saying and then making it your own. It's obviously not stealing and just ripping it off, verbatim, but it's taking a concept and running with it. The other, so you got, what I talked about. So where are we at, AB? We had
number
the
2.
unused capacity. We had the first one was
Data, and then the second one we did session.
Data, what's the capacity in your sessions? The third one was the third one testimonials, or was the one?
I think you sprinkled the third one in there.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's not sounding like I have notes today. But the other one is content that you've already used. Right. So like, what are you doing? What assets do you have that you can reuse? So for example, I have the sweepstakes, right? And the sweepstakes is we run it once a year. And I sat down and spent hours and hours and hours writing these emails that performed very well. I can go back in the next year and reuse those same emails with little tweaks and changing the dates and stuff like that. And the landing page that I have for the sweepstakes, I can go in and use the same exact landing page and tweak a couple words. And now for all assets, they talk about the building a file of marketing asset. And so one of the worst things you can do is take something, build it, spend money on it, spend time on it, use it once, and then never use it again. And that's just like, it's such a waste of resources. So one of the big things you got to look at is look at what you've already created. Have you created videos? Have you done blog posts? Have you done emails? Have you written books? And, you know, for example, like my marketing book, The Ultimate Guide to Marketing Your Gym. Well, I've been putting that out for 3 years. Like, can you imagine if I just put it out for the first year and like, I'm going to move on to something else? It's been running for 3 years. And I think that as us as entrepreneurs, and AB can attest to this, we get bored of stuff.
Yeah, we're definitely all guilty of that. I've done all that so many times. It wasn't until you brought it up that I actually started to really rethink things. Like even so, clients always ask me ask us the same questions over and over and over. So if I just make a video on it, I have it. I just got to resend it to them every time. And all I got to say is, hey, I made a detailed video on this here. You'll learn so much more from the video. That's it.
And it's funny because this is what, so, and you're, you know, one of the head guys in the MMIC, but so Megan, and we were talking about this today. So Megan has created a database of all kinds of stuff, like recordings of podcast recordings of calls, that are all like very detailed and organized. And what Megan will do is like, when she sees someone's ask a question, she'll see that question. She'll be like, bam, well, Vince already did a video exactly on this. He doesn't need to answer the question. Boom. She pumps the video to them. Right. But that's, if I had to say, well, Vince, this person has this question. Can you get on the phone with them and tell them this? Well, why would I do that when I already did it a year ago? The answer is going to be exactly the same.
So true.
And a piece of it, but sometimes the problem maybe is where is this stuff? That's the problem. Is like, where is it all? Like, is it in like, you know, the cloud? Is it in Dropbox? Is it on your hard drive? Is it in your emails? Like, where is it all? And so the unused capacity is being able to reuse what you already created, but also to create this like organized system and files of all the assets that you have. Right? What are the assets? And especially your assets in marketing. Those are your marketing assets, your landing pages, your emails, your sales pages, your ads. And that's one of the good thing about Facebook ads is because they're all stored in there. So they're already in there. All your copy, all your images and stuff like that is already in there. Right. But are you using it at all? Right.
One of the things that I started doing actually this year, because every day I'm sitting down and I'm like, okay, I got to create some content of some sense, whether it's for Facebook or whatever it is, to try to get engagement, right? So it's like, what am I doing? Why am I recreating this? So Facebook has that memory feature. So I've written posts for years. So I just go back in my memory for that day. I look at one of the posts and I've been reposting and no one remembers what you write. And then what I do is I actually made in my Google Drive for my business, I keep a document and all the really good posts that get high engagement, I pull out. So if I don't have it, I just pull one of them and put it back in for the day. And it makes it so much easier. It's more of a system. So it's like, I'm still learning this too, but it's so true. We've done these things as coaches so many times. How many times have you had to tell a client you have to eat more protein? I mean, countless. So if you had this like resource list somewhere, you could just reuse it over and over without having to. It also keeps the message kind of congruent too.
Yep. No, that's beautiful. So I think we beat that up pretty good. I don't think I have any more examples.
So it was only 4, right? Well, I'll do one because we kind of spoke about this when this happened too. So one of the unused capacity things was Sundays for us. We were closed on Sundays for so long. And, most people have a hard time getting to the gym. So we opened up on Sundays. We had some hours to give and we opened up on Sundays. But now we're able to market like, hey, we're open 7 days a week. And that's unused capacity. The gym was completely closed. What am I doing on a Sunday? So, now we have Sunday open. It's another option for clients. I mean, again, it's limited because we kind of have like, a lighter day. But still, it doesn't matter. It's still unused capacity. Even if we did 1 or 2 sessions in the morning, it's still profitable and it's still a value add for anyone coming on. It's like, oh, my gym's open on Sunday.
Yep. Beautiful. Yep. Excellent. I actually have one more. And that is you have unused capacity with your staff, and you start to think about
That's a big,
yeah,
that's a big one. We totally left
yeah.
that one.
Well, obviously the obvious one is, do you have a trainer that, is working 20 hours and they can give you 30? That's an easy one, right? You hopefully that one. But there are other things that you don't even know, the skill sets and the talents of your staff, that what things can they do that they can bring to the table. So, we have Big Tom, and obviously Big Tom's a great trainer, but Big Tom is also like really, really good at public speaking. Like, he's a dynamite public speaker. And so we use him in the mastermind meetings. We use him, when we do seminars and stuff like that. That's, if we never knew that, that's unused capacity right there, the skill set that he had. Right? So you have to start looking at the different skill sets of your staff. And maybe that comes with a little bit getting to know them a little bit more, right? Talking about them a little bit more. Do you need to, ask more questions as a leader to get to see what they like to do? But maybe you have someone on your staff that's got 5 extra hours a week that wants to do social media for you, that wants to post on Facebook, that likes editing videos, that likes doing these things. And maybe all you do is like you gather them around and be like, hey, this is a list of stuff that we need help with around here. Anyone, you can do this pretty good, and just see who can do it. Or you can do it the opposite way and be like, hey, what talents and skills do you have that you could bring those skills and talents forward to the business? But that's a big one. That's a big one, is looking at your staff and looking at what skills, talents, and things like that. So like my wife, is a Pilates teacher at GFP, but she also has an extreme talent as a dancer. So no brainer.
Yeah.
Start a dance class once a week, bunch of ladies dancing. It's a no-brainer. That's a skill set and an asset that she has.
That's unused capacity right there. Don't you do Pilates too?
We do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so isn't that another thing you could also?
Yeah, that's what I said. She is a Pilates teacher, and then the dance was the unused capacity.
Oh, okay.
She's doing the Pilates, yeah.
But again, you could even look at it another way. You had room in the gym to put these things in. Unused capacity. It's everywhere.
You'll all of a sudden get addicted to it. You'll get like we have unused capacity here, and what you got to do is just you got to tackle one thing at a time, right? And you got to not like get crazy with like, oh, we have incapacity everywhere, we suck, and really just getting on it. But like, so like really just understand that it's there, it's everywhere. Okay, it's all around you. Start maybe brain dumping all the different opportunities that you have. And then, you can't do everything at once. So maybe you just need to see what your current strategy, what piece of unused capacity fits into your current strategy. If your current strategy right now is to be more profitable, right? If you're really focusing on profitability right now, well, man, that one we talked about earlier with making sure you have, as many people packed into those sessions as possible, that's one that you want to focus on. Okay. That's one you want to focus on. So really just start there. Understand it's there. Look at all your potential opportunities and then build it into what your current strategy is for your business. So that's it. So it's really all about a mindset. It's about a thinking process that that you got this stuff out there, that there's things in your business that you're sitting on that you don't even know it's there. And maybe you just need to sit for an hour. I had a conversation with another guy recently. He's doing 12 sessions a day. 12 sessions a day. And I was like, dude, there's no time for you to think about anything. There's no time. And this is like, you'll win this game by having some time to think and then obviously taking action. I mean, nothing happens if you don't take action. But if you're always, always, always on the go and you're always working in your business, you got to find a way. You got to find a way to get some time to step back from everything and think about it. Otherwise, this unused capacity thing it'll just keep passing you by every minute.
But it's so true, and this is, I could speak from it from experience, because it's like, you have all these ideas in your head and you just got to be able to get them out. And like, this is why every time I talk to you, I get something out of it. Like the lemonade thing, like that was something that like I kind of like added to other things that we're doing, but you need something like this to spark your creativity to really start to think about it. So this is why having a coach is really good, for them not to teach you like sort of like the X's and O's where it's like, okay, run this play. That's not really it. It's about teaching you to give yourself time to think about, okay, what you need to do to move up in your business. And again, these are ways to activate money that you're currently sitting on. Well, maybe you take the lemonade thing that I said earlier and you reactivate, 5 members. Well, this podcast just made you money. So even listening on this, just something like this can help your business so much. So especially in this environment.
Yeah. I have one guy that talks about unused capacity. A guy named Ben Settle, and I read his newsletter, and he said he uses his sleepless nights as unused capacity. So he basically, like, when he can't sleep, he's like stays up late at night and he can't sleep. He's like, that's time to work and that's time to think. And it's funny that the rabbit hole you can go down with all this stuff. But yeah, that's let's put a ball on an AB. Unused capacity. It's become a common language in the mastermind, right? So I think I first taught this in March of 2020, right before this whole storm started. And I remember there's an energy in the room of like thinking about this. There's unused capacity. I believe that same mastermind I talked about IPU value, which I think is something we should talk about on the podcast, definitely. But it's brought up a lot in conversations just in general with the mastermind members. It's like, oh yeah, that's a form of unused capacity and stuff like that. So it's become common theme and vocabulary in our group. But that's what it's got to become. It's got to become a thinking process. It's got to be something you use and think about all the time, not just something, that you do once.
Agreed, 100%. So I guess I'll cover them really quick. So there's 5 main things, unused capacity, that you need to think about all the time.
There's 100, but there's 5 that we talked about today. Yeah.
5 main ones that we discussed that'll make you money in your business today. So the data, emails, phone numbers, addresses, old client list, new client list. I mean, even new client list is kind of like unused data. If you send them a referral campaign, that's unused data. All right, so second one is capacity in your sessions, making sure that sessions are full, making sure that if you have a couple sessions that are maybe empty, maybe cutting them, save some money on payroll. 3 are testimonials and reusing, and this kind of goes into number 4, but testimonials and reusing assets. So, if you have a testimonial on a Google website, like Vince said, put it somewhere else, screenshot it, put it on your social media, talk about it in a YouTube video. I don't know. Figure that out. But that's kind of where you got to go with that one. And then the last one is staff. Do you have a staff member that can do something else, edit videos, all that other stuff? So you got to think about these things in your business. So maybe take 5 minutes before you go and listen to the next podcast or go and do the next session.
They're binging. They're binging today.
Whatever you have to do next, maybe take 5 minutes and just pencil down a couple of things that you can do to activate some money, because everybody loves money. Everybody loves the moolah.
All right. Well, good stuff today, AB. And you guys remember that there is still some time to apply for the 12 months of free business coaching.
Again,
the last day, I'll be announcing the winner on January 22nd.
So you'll take applications up to the 21st?
Yeah, but they won't be looked at if it's on the 21st, there's a good chance it's going to get glanced at very quickly and not seriously considered, because you're just such a procrastinator that took you 3
what if
weeks.
They just heard it? That's not true. I'm defending.
Yeah, if you're such a procrastinator that you fill out your application on January 21st, don't expect a huge evaluation of your application.
No, that's not true. What if they just found you on the 21st?
Hey, early bird gets the worm, bro.
Yeah, but what if they just found you? What if I just found you on the 21st? You wouldn't pick me?
Well, then you better hope that I'm in a good mood that day.
All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you on the next one. Until next time, just make sure that you we need a tagline, man. Only a bullet. No, it takes more than a bullet to kill a bull moose.
That's
the
it. That's the
tagline.
tagline. More than a bullet to kill a bull moose. Boom. All right, brother.
All right, guys. Catch you in
Peace.
the next. We need a tagline for sure, man.
Stop recording. I got to make sure